like the attitude of the women, especially the way they dress in the summer. It's very interesting. And yeah, of course, you know, I love Greece for the obvious reasons. The cuisine and the azure ocean, Mediterranean. And they're both a part of each other, right? The Mediterranean diet and all that goes with it. Yeah. And also, I cannot say a word against this country because my wife will kill me. And the first one was I was lucky to survive an attack by the German Air Force in May 11th, 1941 in Newcastle when they bombed the hospital that I was being birthed in. I think the first day that I went to art school and I was inducted into people that were, and this is really important in England, it might not be as important in Greece, but a class higher than me. And to find out that I was more of an impression upon them than they were on me. Does that make sense? Yes. They all thought because I was working class that I knew how to get along with women, for instance, which was amazing. I thought, me? You're asking me? Okay. Then I started making up stories. From that point on, it kind of like shaped my future as a liar. As a liar. I think meeting Ray Charles on a personal level, and I had a couple of shocks with Ray Charles. First of all, one time he came to one of my shows, and I was on stage, and all I could see was these dark glasses. And that was a horrendous experience. But then I met him later on, and from that meeting, I realized that to be blind and black in America is such a awesome challenge. But the expression, what doesn't kill you will only make you stronger. And he was one of those most powerful people in my life, in my world, not only for his music, but what he achieved with all the drawbacks that he was given as a child. But this book is a challenge for me because I'm not writing about the 60s or the 70s, and I'm not writing about just musicians or music. I'm undertaking to write more in depth about people that I've met who were important to me. So it's something that's not finished. I'm on the way to finishing it. I'm on the way to doing the final take on it actually in Seraphis when we'll be having a holiday. I'll be working on my book. And I wouldn't say that I have high hopes for it, because that's not the way I think. I always think the worst, so that when it doesn't happen, you're really happy. I just hope that I'll complete it and be at ease with it myself, and that one or two people that I admire will say to me, "Hey, well done," and I'll be happy. Well, it's more personal, I think. And by saying more personal, I think it means that I wrote more, I contributed more to writing than any other album that I've done before. And also, there was people that inspired me to do it that I really admire as people who happen to be known worldwide, like Mikhail Gorbachev, for instance, who In a conversation with him, I said to him, realizing that I was sitting next to one of the most influential men in our generation, as like, what do you think is the most important thing facing mankind in the future? And he said, what the? Where I live is a problem. I love where I live, but I'm having to drink plastic bottled water in order to avoid the stuff that comes out of the ground through the taps, because it was one of the birthplaces of oil. Standard Oil was born, instigated in California, right where we're living, and there's still a lot of the oil sediment in the ground, so it's not good water. But I'm running into people at my gigs and everything. They listen to the track Water and they say, hey, you know, that track inspired me to do something. We're now, my friends and I, we're now on the trail of making pure water. And I'm like, that's all ancient alchemy. It's like turning sand into gold, you know. And they said, yeah, but we're serious about it. And I'm like intrigued by the fact that a song inspired people to think this way. Every country has its own dog to kick around. And what the American influx of Europeans did to the American Indian is like no better and a lot worse, really, than what the Germans did to the Jews, the Gypsies, and homosexuals in World War II. I stay away from it. I don't trust it. I don't trust it at all. Maybe in 10, 20 years from now, I'll be able to have some trust in it. But from what I read and what I see is going on, I don't think that human beings should have that capability. I mean, I'm only speaking from the world that I grew up in. We had a telephone. We knew where it was. It was always there when we needed it. Even if we didn't have a telephone, we knew who to reach so they could reach our parents to let us know where we were. It's okay. For anybody else, fine. In fact, I realize the good in it, the benefit in it when I'm working in the recording studio. It makes things much faster. So it's a good tool to use, but I don't see it as a god.